Hey, what's up guys? So another month, another passive income. I have been paid 14 times by 14 different companies, and I'm going to share that with you in this video. Okay, let's get started. So straight away we can see that the money I have is currently in dollars and not in pounds. So the reason for this is simply because dollars is more widely understood by most countries, so it's best to have it in dollars than in pounds. But with that aside, we can see the portfolio is doing amazing. To be fair, in the past week it says I'm up by 1.18%, so this is actually relative to how the market is doing. So let me just show you the actual performance. So if we're to go into trading 212, we can see that I'm actually up by 20%, which is massive. This must be the highest I've been up ever since I actually started investing. But when we go through the 1 day, 1 week, 1 month, we can see that it's not actually showing how much I've gained. But when we go into this, we can see that in the past week it says I've been up by 1.18%. In the past month, it's been up by 4.71%, and that's $350. Past 3 months, that's 12.17%, and in the past year, that's 188%. This doesn't mean my whole portfolio has grown by 188%. It's actually counting how much I'm actually investing as well. Taking a look at the individual stocks, Realtor Income is the company that I have most of our money in at the moment, and this is up by 19.59%. This is quite a lot of money. I have 7 shares at the moment, and the next one up is going to be AbbVie. Then we have Coke, then we have 3M, and then we have Intel. So those are my top 5 anyway, and we've done by 20%. I do want to invest more because 3M is low, very low, but it's one that is extremely good. I have no doubt that 3M is going to recover. So this is definitely a discount, and I'm going to invest more. I do have some money to invest actually, but I'll get into that shortly. We can see that AbbVie is doing incredibly well. I'm up by 146% on AbbVie alone. That is an incredible growth. AbbVie isn't a growth stock, but being up by 146% is massive. You can also see that from other companies I'm holding. Like Nucor, that's also up by 198%. So literally about 3 months ago, I was up by 100% on that, but now I'm up by 198. So if these companies were growth companies, this would be a lot of money. But unfortunately it's not. It's a dividend company. I mean, it's not bad because it does mean that I'm getting paid more dividends overall, and you guys will see that every single dividend payments that I'm getting now is extremely significant, and this is actually the reason why the entire portfolio is compounding. So taking a look at the dividends that I'm earning, in 2021 I was getting $121 every single year, and as soon as we touch 2022, we're only 4 months in, we can see that's now up to $235, and that's $19 every single month. My average yield is 3%, which is good. I'm trying to aim for between 3 to 5%, nothing too low and nothing too high to where my portfolio becomes a bit risky. So in the month of April, I am actually set to receive approximately 10 payments in the month of April, but because April is still going on, I'm not going to go through April. I'm going to go through how much I actually earned in March. So starting with Enbridge, we can see that I gained $2.91. Enbridge, I only have about 5 shares of Enbridge at the moment, but about almost $3 is definitely good. I haven't invested that much into Enbridge yet, but I'm not complaining. Enbridge is doing incredibly well overall. It's a stock that I definitely believe in. It's one I'll continue to hold. Then next we have Intel. Intel is an interesting one because I'm an Apple person, and of course we know that Apple just made their own chip, but I'm not really worried that Apple is going to suddenly destroy Intel because their chip is powerful. But the main reason why I'm still invested into Intel is just because they're quite stable. The amount of dividends they're paying is really good. Other companies are going to continue using Intel chip anyway, besides from Apple. Of course, Apple is dominant in the market of computers and laptops, but Intel is still going to have their own share. I don't think we're going to get to a point where Apple is going to be completely running the entire market. But I'm not so much of a tech guru, but Intel is doing incredibly well for me. There's definitely one I will continue to invest in as well. We can see that just based on the news, you know, it's been positive things. So I'll continue to invest into Intel as long as their stock continues to deviate slightly, so that way I continue to buy in cheap. To be fair, regardless of if it goes cheap or not, what I do plan on doing is dollar cost averaging anyway. That's what I've been doing for several years. So now I'm actually investing £50 every single week, so that's probably approximately $65 or so. I'm investing that every single week. I try to either invest into a company every week, and if I'm not, I just leave the money in my portfolio. And when I find an opportunity where a company is really low, then I'm just probably going to invest into that company because I'm going to be buying cheap, and I know they're going to eventually grow and recover. Now on the 3rd of March, we can see the ex-dividend date of Kimberly-Clark. So this wasn't actually a payment, but on the 4th, I received payment from Pfizer. I received $1.72, and I have 5 shares of Pfizer at the moment. Pfizer, I invested invested in a while back, so this was probably back in 2021 early or 2020, simply because the entire world was struggling at that point. So Pfizer came up with solutions. They were doing incredibly well compared to other companies in terms of medicals and just helping the hospitals and just the medication they're able to bring out. And next we have the safest of the safest, Johnson & Johnson. Johnson & Johnson is a stable, as you can imagine. I currently have just 2 shares because it's very expensive, but just owning a single share is paying good dividends at the moment. Hopefully those dividends can continue to increase. Their yield isn't incredibly high. It's just one of the balanced ones. It's the reason to why my entire dividend yield averages around 3%, simply because they do not really deviate much. It continues to do well. In fact, just taking a look at their growth, since they actually came on the market, we can see it's just been going upwards. The overall trend is just straight upwards. This is actually the highest they have ever been. So it's definitely not a good idea to buy at the moment because it's just expensive. I'm not saying they're too expensive for what it's worth, but it's expensive and it's always best to buy cheap. So before moving on to the next one, this app that I'm using is known as Stock Events. You guys can actually now follow my investment. You guys can actually see when I invest money. You can see when I sell certain things. So now they have the function, so you can actually go ahead and follow me, or you can scan this barcode that you can see, or just type in the link and you can follow my portfolio. You can see what I'm invested into. So you can either choose to invest into those or look into it, but of course this is your decision, but it's at least there available for you to see. So we can see that in February, I bought 2 shares and I bought several shares, and you guys will also be able to see this to also follow. So yeah, do feel free. I do feel like it's something that's beneficial, just for I'll mention it to you guys. Now on the 10th of March, I received a payment from Chevron, and I also received another payment from ExxonMobil. Chevron paid me $2.43 and I have 2 shares at the moment. ExxonMobil paid me $2.28 and I have 3 shares of ExxonMobil. ExxonMobil is dope. ExxonMobil is one I've always kind of had faith in. There's a lot of controversy with the future and how oil is going to continue performing. Most people are actually saying buy at the moment, and 44% of people are saying hold. They do have a good dividend yield, but in terms of my investment portfolio, Exxon is doing amazing. 97%. I've actually gained £101 on ExxonMobil since I've invested. I haven't bought a share in a very, very, very long time. Before to see, the last time I bought a share was actually in May 2021. So all the dividend growth that I've received since then, back in May I was receiving £1, and now in March I'm receiving £1.75. Now all of this is coming from them increasing their dividends, as well as just the growth that I've got in general. I've pretty much gained an extra £100, almost doubled my investment since I invested into Exxon. So now it's too late to buy into it just because it's expensive. If it does continue to grow, I will definitely invest more. In terms of if it does dip here and there, I'll definitely want to make the most of the opportunity. But I'm happy with the dividends I'm gaining as well, because it's actually massive. It's a good amount of dividends. It's one that's proven to be doing well for my portfolio anyway. I bought when it was, I think, around $61 or even less. I bought when it was approximately $55 or so, and now it's actually selling at $87. So it's definitely going to reach $100 soon if it continues to perform like this. So it might actually be best for me to buy now and hopefully just wait a couple more months or a year for it to reach $100. And on Saturday the 12th, I received a dividend payment from 3M, one of my favorite, one of the most diverse dividends income or dividend stock, and I was paid $2.59. So of course most people who have been following the channel know I have 3M simply because they are involved in most things. Most household items, 3M is involved one way or another. In fact, my setup behind me, there's all the cable managements and stuff that I needed to manage every single wire to stick them down. I had to buy some 3M products, so all these little sticky tapes that you can use to stick wires underneath the table and stuff. On the 14th, these are just a ton of ex-dividend dates, so this is just telling me when the next dividend is going to be coming out. And I didn't get any payment on that day, but on the 15th I received 3 payments: Consolidated Edison, Road to Income, and Pemba. Road to Income, the monthly dividend stock, this is one that I have most of my investments in, and that has paid me $1.47. My overall aim is to have Road to Income pay me at least $10. Of course, I'm a long way from that, but all I need is a big chunk of money. Maybe I might win the lottery or something, even though I don't bet money. but hopefully I can get some sort of money from somewhere. You guys can actually smash that like button to hopefully share this video to more people so that YouTube paycheck can begin running in. My next payment was from Duke Energy and I received $2.51, which is good. And next I have an ETF. So this is just for diversification's sake. So the dividend stocks that I'm not invested in specifically, I'm hoping that they're all covered in this ETF. And after that, we just have a ton of X dividends, X dividends, X dividends, and X dividends. Oh, I actually got paid by Guild Science and FTSE. So that is my dividends income so far for March, and we can see that here I do have £197 to invest. So I'm not sure what this is going to go into. I mean, I'm happy. You can see that £1,000 return. I've been waiting for a day to reach this. I still remember when I was on £1 return when I first started, and I was excited just to be gaining money that I didn't work for. And now we've got that up to £1,000, and I only have about £6,000 invested at the moment. So that is the portfolio. Thank you guys for watching today, and I'll see you guys in the next one.